Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei, the Chair of the EACC, David Oginde, and the top leadership of EACC, and all distinguished guests and participants here this morning. A very good morning. Good morning once again. I know it's not the right time to be happy when we are discussing something as grave as this. Talking about, I didn't know we were ever going to get to this point of having a gathering, an important gathering such as this, to talk about certificates. But we are here today and we have to talk about this topical issue. I'm not going to take long here because we have a full day, but I'll just give a short preamble and then the scope, and then just a short epilogue of this subject that we are having here. But it marks a good opportunity for us to reflect on the issue today. And the first question we should ask ourselves is, how did we get here? And before I answer or attempt to answer that question, let me be clear that no amount of careful planning can assure a government of continuous relevance and effectiveness if there is insufficient institutional capacity for learning, innovation, and change in the face of ever new challenges in a volatile and unpredictable global environment. To achieve this, the country needs a critical mass of educated people. However, and this is very relevant to us, expanding our education sector, as we have done in the last 2.5 decades, or 3 decades, ought to have been undertaken within a manpower planning framework, where manpower requirements have an economy that forecasted and educational intakes for each level adjusted accordingly. The partial dissemination of our polytechnics and vocational institutions did not help, as the country was left with an educational system that is currently producing many graduates who are unable to find jobs, as the integration of the academic and vocational tracks that hitherto had students leaving the school system with skills to secure employment no longer exists. So that is what we have, an educated mass and a youth bulge, and no jobs. So my short preamble brings me now to our focus today and the scope. Academic and professional qualifications are not just mere certificates. They are the epitome of a just, intelligent, and sober society governed by the rule of law. Their integrity, therefore, is a prerequisite for a competent and ethical national workforce. Yet in recent years, the integrity of certificates issued by our institutions of higher learning has come under threat by widespread cases of forgery and fraudulent acquisition of academic certificates by individuals seeking entry or advancement within the public service and increasingly also in the private sector. Now, how did we get to start this exercise? I will tell you. When I took over the mantle of the Public Service Commission in 2022, January, within a span of 7 months, I did sit in quite a number of interviews. And what I realized is we had many interviewees coming before me with papers all the way up to PhD level. But what was coming out of the brain of the interviewee and the mouth was completely different from the papers that I was looking at. Completely different. And I realized we had a problem. Now, unfortunately, some of these papers are genuine. Some are forged, some are fraudulent, some are tampered with, some are genuine, all the way to PhD. But the brain, unfortunately, is not genuine. And it will tell you. And it told us a lot. And that's why in October of that year, 2022, we decided to undertake this exercise to authenticate these certificates. And this brings me also to the institution of higher learnings. People are holding your papers, which are genuine, but the brains are not genuine. And people are holding papers which are genuine, which are tampered with, and there are some which are completely forged. Unfortunately, and this is an omission by the Commission, we took a span of 10 years from 2022 going backwards up to 2012. And out of about 53,000 certificates verified by different learning institutions, over 2,500 continuously, we are heading to 3,000, have been found to be forged. And I'm not talking about the genuine ones. How we are going to deal with the genuine ones, that's another story. This compelled me and the Commission to relook at the exercise, and 2 weeks ago, I did issue another circular to ensure that everybody working in the public service, every certificate they hold, whether diploma, whether primary, whether Form 4, whether degree, whether master's, whether PhD, should be authenticated. As public service. I'm not talking about devolved government. It's not under my jurisdiction. I'm not talking about other constitutional commissions. And we have the private sector. I think the speakers after me will talk about the other sectors that we don't have jurisdiction over. And I believe the CEO of the EACC has just said they are recovering some money and they have taken some people to court. But what I don't understand is how somebody can be acquitted with a fake certificate. I honestly don't understand. And I don't know whether the judiciary was invited to this gathering. You people tell me, how can you be acquitted and you're holding a fake certificate that has been confirmed as fake? And you have earned some money, taxpayers' money from that. It's unacceptable. And I believe, Chief of Staff, you'll talk to that this morning. Because if this is going to be a stakeholder effort, I think we might even have, and this I think goes to the EACC, we might have quite a number of judicial staff also holding this certificate. Ask me why. Because we have doctors and health personnel holding this stuff, clinical officers. Why not judicial officers? Yeah. The rot is all the way, everywhere. and this taints our institutions and our image among the community of nations globally, such that if you're going with a certificate to do a master's abroad or to do your undergraduate, you are looked at twice if you're coming from this region, from Kenya. We can't allow that to happen. So, the implication of fake certificates and the fraudulently acquired qualifications have far-reaching effects within our society. And of course, the fight against corruption can never be won if you have these people holding these certificates. Because you already have a corrupt person who's got in corruptly. Whatever you do, you can't win this fight. And that's the crisis we are facing today. These people also do occupy positions of great responsibility. And we also have to talk to it today. Because this is a symptom of a deeper culture and societal malaise. A considerable percentage of our people celebrate shortcuts and habitually disregard ethical boundaries in pursuit of success. Our people now glorify fraud, and our traditional moral fabric is increasingly getting eroded. So what must be done? This is my take. We may enforce the law to the letter, bring the culprits to book, and even incarcerate them. We might also undertake systemic reforms, such as digitization of academic certificates, verification of certificates before appointment, and other mundane exercises. But will it help? My answer is an emphatic no. The solution is to go back to our roots, our culture passed on by our forefathers, as well as our liberation heroes. Why do we go back to our roots? Because culture denotes certain group beliefs and values that are shared or held in common in a given community, such as ours, based on a history of shared experience. They encompass rules and structures made by a society and reflect the values and beliefs of its people and leaders. These beliefs are the scaffolds that us humans erect and drive our values and beliefs as we go to school, compete in exams, graduate, get employed in public service, and serve society in a just and humane manner. I personally consider these values and beliefs, which are ingrained in Article 10 and 232 of our Constitution, the cultural foundation of our society. And if articulated and understood implicitly, the citizens will understand and appreciate why governance choices are made the way they are. And that's what we should reflect about today. So in conclusion, as I conclude my remarks, other than the scope of the malaise that I've pointed out, and my preamble and my short epilogue, we have to have a deep reflection as the integrity of not only our education system, but the economy and country as a whole is at stake. We as stakeholders here this morning should work interactively and synergetically by thinking again on what is ailing our education system and thinking ahead to understand that the future will affect our country if we don't put in place policies that can help bring back the integrity of our education system as well as its certificates thereof. Only then, and only then, can we have good citizens and a country to be proud of. Thank you very much for listening to me.